you're working 4 jobs, you don't know, you know what you want to do, you don't know where the next job is going. What you're secretly doing, which you may not have known at the time, is you're training your body for your future, and you're training yourself, your work ethic, going, this is what it takes.
Yeah.
And that's like, most people can't even get to that point. They can't work that hard to know what it takes because they don't have the answer. If someone said to you, right, you're going to work really hard now and you're going to get paid this amount of money and you're going to get this job in 6 months, everyone would work their socks off.
Yeah,
but when you don't know,
it's just unknown.
It's
you don't
unknown.
even know if this is going to work out.
Exactly.
Welcome to the Boardman Podcast episode. Welcome back to the Boardman Podcast, episode number whatever. Today we've got Lucy Martin. That's her Instagram, so it's easy to remember. Actress, Viking. You right with me saying Viking?
Yeah.
And do you know what I was thinking earlier on? If I was going to introduce Lucy in any way, if it was one way, I'd say if you were to look back in 5 years from now and pick one person that you thought would be a massive movie star, I reckon it'd be Lucy.
Oh, stop it.
I'm serious. That's not. I'm dead serious, and I think
He's
that.
slipping his number under the table too.
Yeah. Oh, you're single, James.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say if there's one person that you meet in the last 5 years that's like really nice that you hope stay in your life for longer, it'd be Lucy, but you went movie star. So.
Is that what you
I'm going to go
thought?
with the other way. I'm going to go with the nice, sentimental.
guys.
And you've been in our lives for the last 5 years, actually.
Oh, yeah. No, is it 5 years?
No, Matt. It's
No.
no, way less than that. We met
Hang
in
on,
Malta.
Yeah.
You
when
met
was
him in
that?
Malta, right?
No, yes, I did.
For the Duke.
2019.
3 years ago.
3 years.
So
okay.
just half whatever Matt says.
Just feels like 5.
just half it in half it. Okay. Well, welcome. Nice to have you here.
Thank
Drinking
you.
already. We've drunk on every podcast so far, so might as well keep it going.
I like that tradition.
I'm going to take a time out for a little while.
Did you
I thought you'd already drank
over
this.
there?
Already half cup. No, I might start off with a beer. So.
You all right today, Jay? What's up with you, mate?
No, I'm good, mate. I'm good.
You
Just
sure?
having some personal troubles, but we don't need to bring that out. on the open.
What's going on, mate?
Just career goals, personal goals, female goals. That's it, really.
relationship goals?
Yeah.
Female goals.
Conquering females.
No, I'm saying female goals because I'm dealing with a lot of females in my life, and I'm having to mentor quite a few people a few females in my life, like my mum, my sister, other people that need my help. So it's just juggling that. It's quite difficult.
You know what they say, you can't help others until you help yourself.
Ah, I like that one.
100%.
And if the mask comes down on the airplane, you need oxygen. You don't put the oxygen mask on someone else first, put it on you, and then you help other people.
I like that. That's
See, I
very
still
good.
disagree with that because if I had a child, well, I do have a child, but if, just forgot. Forget I had a child because she's not here in this country.
Your parents. You said if I
If
had a child.
No, I do have a child, but she's not obviously in this country. She lives in another country.
What's her name?
So if she was here,
No, seriously.
if she was here, right, and obviously I was travelling with her, then I would, hands down, put that mask on her first. Just
But you won't be able to put a mask on it if you can't breathe. You're unconscious.
I know, but
That's the point.
there'll be time, subconsciously, I'll have all my energy to make sure she has hers on first.
what's what's the one thing that acting does for you that's like, right, I know I want to do it, this is why I want to do it, and this is what it does for me?
Why I want to do it.
But does it?
Why I do it.
How you knew you wanted to do it? Did it just make you? Did it make you feel alive? Did it just go, wow, that's a completely different experience? Or I've got to work hard at that, but that's where I feel most comfortable.
Yeah, at that time, what made you want to do
Yeah.
it?
It was in a musical. It was Grease, actually.
Right.
The musical was called Grease, and I was playing Patty Simcox, weirdly, and I don't know. I just naturally, I don't know. I just naturally fell into it, and it was just a really natural thing for me. And it was like just pretending to be someone else. I was already good at like doing impressions of people,
Right.
and like that was a thing. And obviously, like using your body from dancing, and I'd imitate my relatives and all that sort of thing. So the minute I got a character, I was like, oh, this is fun. Just being someone completely different.
The same exact happened for me. I did like a play at school, And I remember the person that got the part was the person that could basically shout the loudest. I don't know if you remember that, but he was like, oh, if you can shout and echo your voice, because there wasn't mics or anything back then. It was just like, you know, being able to play to like your score. And I remember shouting the loudest and they were like, wow, Matt shouts really loud across the room. And I remember that feeling going, God, that felt good. It was a little bit of competition in a weird way because I could shout louder than the other people, or I felt confident enough to shout louder. And I just remember doing that, going, wow, and all these people were just watching. It was a nice kind of feeling, but it started the same thing in school, like with just like against like a, you know, your school audience essentially in assembly, which is, you know.
Love that. Who can shout the loudest?
I know.
Hey, I'll be an actor.
Yeah. This is fun.
So after that, you done your ballroom, jazz, all that.
Ballroom, all that sort of stuff.
And then you decided you wanted to be an actress, right? And your parents backed it, and then you're like,
yeah. No, they did. My parents have been amazing. I wanted to do all of it though. It wasn't just acting. I wanted to do
singing,
dancing, and acting.
Can you sing? I'm not going to ask you to. Okay.
I didn't know.
Wow.
You didn't know?
I didn't know that.
You can sort of tell. I know it sounds really cheesy, but you know when someone speaks, like they speak at a certain pitch, I can hear. You've got a soft voice and you could probably sing. Matt, I know you're singing. It sounds like you've got a singing voice. Like,
are you trying to say she's got a nice voice?
I'm trying to say you've got a nice voice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who would you say you sing like?
I don't know. I don't sing. Or like I sing obviously for myself. And I've done a few things. Don't laugh at me.
Where'd you sing for yourself?
In the shower.
Okay.
Or like if I'm
in the shower on
cleaning.
my own.
Yeah, you know
I'm
what
really
I mean?
good.
Or sometimes if no one's in the house, then I'll just like
Blast it out.
And
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah.
Did you want to do everything like the singing, dancing, just because you knew that the kind of, you know, the acting side, as you know, is so flipping difficult. You know, you get auditions and they say to you, can you fly off a bridge? You're like, yes. Can you horse ride? Yes. Can you do all this stuff? Did you just go, right, I want to, if I can sing, dance, do it all, then I've got more chance of like getting things? Or was it just like to cover every aspect?
Oh no, I know it wasn't that at all. That's just those are the things that I was good at.
You were just really good.
Not really good. No, those are the things that, you know, when you're at school and like, yeah, those
just
are the
picked up on.
things
It's interesting
that I was good
because
at.
you've got this like it's not a confidence because you're sort of like you're not like like overly ego person, but I can feel in you that like confidence. So I was in a bar the other day and I met this actress called Sylvia Hoeks. Do you know her?
No.
She's my second favourite actress, and she's the bad.
Does she have a nice voice?
Huh?
Nice voice.
I don't know if she can
Singer?
sing.
Yeah.
She's in Blade Runner. Do you remember the bad girl in Blade Runner?
Yeah.
She's really scary. She's done that news. And I sort of, she was just, you know, we chatted at the bar and she went, oh, I've been living in LA and, you know, I'm acting and I'm sort of, you know, I'd obviously don't want to say anything for her, but I was like, do you enjoy it? She's like, yeah. And I said, why'd you do it? She went, because I'm fucking good at it. And I just knew, like, the last 30 minutes of the conversation was not in line with that.
Yeah.
I just knew she knows she's incredible.
Yeah.
And so are you. So it's just like, people, like, when you're good at something, you do know.
So her external confidence was like held back.
Exactly.
But her inner confidence was that.
Exactly.
And that is.
She didn't look unconfident.
Yeah.
She was just at the bar, sort of like, you know.
And you're right. That's exactly like you.
And that's like,
Yeah,
so
I
that's like
agree.
a
It's exactly like
it's an
you.
inner knowing that
Yeah.
you're good,
Yeah.
but you're not flaunting it.
Yeah.
Whereas if you get somebody who goes, oh yeah, I'm the best
Yeah.
best actor,
Yeah.
they're not going to be the best actor.
Yeah.
Because you need to have like that self-doubt.
I've seen Lucy go on set and she's like, she'll be nervous like 5 minutes before. And I'll be like, okay, maybe I'll say hello. I know she's fine. She's doing her thing. She's a little bit nervous and she just goes on and she's just like bossing it.
Every time I've seen her, we go, yeah.
Bossing it,
She's, every time we watch a scene with Lucy, we're like, yeah, it's fucking unreal.
Yeah.
But I think that's like, if you didn't have that, sorry, talking about your way here, Lucy, if you didn't have that little bit of nervousness or whatever it is that propels you to do it, then you'd be a different actress, you know?
Yeah, I mean it's a funny thing talking about yourself in that sort of way,
Yeah.
or like being overly confident because, you know, like you're
Alright.
human and you can't always be good. You know, you can't always be good at everything all the time. So, but then I think there's just that inner like. You just know that you have the ability.
Self-belief.
And I've also worked really hard at what I do.
I was just about to say you work
I've
really
wor-
hard
I
as
work
well. Yeah.
really hard and
Yeah.
I put all the work in beforehand.
Yeah.
And I sort of like put all this work in so that I know even if I fumble on the day that I've got backup.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? So there is
Yeah.
that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I know my work ethic. And I know that if all goes wrong that I have something to fall back on. I don't use it all the time, but say if I am super nervous or a bit anxious that day, or like something's like
throwing you off,
me off kilter or whatever, then I just have, I have that.
I think that's so good because everybody reverts back to type when they're sort of in a pressurized situation, but when you revert back to type, it's almost like something that you can rely on, which is really good. I like that.
And what type of like actress would you think you like consider yourself now? Do you think you are technical, method? Do you prepare? Like how do you sort of prepare?
How do I prepare?
Yeah.
Well, like I went to a place called Tring Park. See Alfie? Yeah, he went there too. I went to a place called Tring Park. I got a scholarship there at 16.
Right.
And I was there for just under 2 years.
Okay.
So I got a job early and left. And I studied like lots of different methods there.
Right.
And I guess like over time, just through working, I've kind of just developed my own thing.
Okay.
I go through the script. I like read it like inside out and back to front, so I know all the different nuances and what characters are doing what and what might be feeling what, and I sort of go through all of that. And then I obviously go through the character really more than anything, and sort of decide what I think my character is.
Do you zone out when you get on set, or are you still like I'm focused on the character, but I'm also aware of what the cameras are and the lighting and actually the way it's moving?
Yeah.
Or do you? I feel like watching you zone in.
I do zone in, but after doing Vikings, I learned so much about lighting and what else goes on in the room. Because there's so much more to it than just acting.
Yeah.
There's so much more to it. Like, you are literally just like a little cog in this massive machine, and everyone else there is so amazing at what they do, and they are so important, and they just make you look good. So like, if the lighting's not on you right, or this isn't, and the angles and all that sort of thing.
But it's good you learn all that, because then there's a certain amount of control that you have over yourself as well. I have a really funny story about this very quickly. If you watch the behind the scenes of Raging Bull, the actress that played the wife, she hadn't done anything before, and she wasn't prepared for like cameras or anything, and they were doing all these rehearsals, basically trying to get it into the motion. She never stepped foot on set, and they were ready to shoot on this one day, and it was like, yeah, turn it over, get ready, and she was like, whoa, they've all got to leave, all the people have got to leave, and he was like, no, this is they're here, that's the camera, the DOP, the lighting, and she was like, oh, I thought like when we were rehearsing, no one was there. He's like, yeah, but this is all the crew that's needed. Yeah. And it's so interesting because I think it's a really important point where like, and you see people like, I've seen the way like Tom Cruise and Angelina Jolie work. They're so good at what they do, but they're so clued up on what this person's doing, that person's doing. And if you learn that, and you don't have to learn it to be able to do what they do, just aware, then you can kind of add that to your own sense. And if there's one thing that someone's off, and you know where the lighting's pointing and what the design or the look of it, you can turn in a specific way, and it changes everything.
It's a team thing, and if the camera's in a certain place, you might have been playing this way to somebody or whatever, but the camera's there. So if you're like this, it's literally, you're not helping anyone out, and maybe they can't get round or whatever it is. So sometimes you just have to adapt, and it doesn't matter if it feels good or better to do it this way, or what people say, like, my character would do this or whatever. It's like, no, the camera's there. Yeah. Use it, like help them out. Like, as in, like, it's that whole, it's just, it's understanding that you're part of a team. Yeah,
I see everything in numbers, right? So a percentage of your brain knows that there's a light there, a camera there, a light there, like say 20%, but the 80% of your brain is fully engrossed in that moment, and you are that person, right? Yeah. And so you know what you said earlier, like, you can't be good all the time. Yeah. I'm like, I remember reading this quote from Kate Moss, and she was like to her mum. Her mum said, "Look, Kate, you can't party all the time.
You can have fun all the time."
And she went, "Mum, I can have fun all the time."
I know that.
And I'm like, you could, like, if you want, like, my mum says, "James, you go away on this week's holiday." She went, "James, that's not reality." I'm like, if you want it to be your reality, if I want that to be my reality, that can be my reality. Obviously, it's not healthy. Yeah. But you probably know deep down, like, you can be good all the time.
Oh, this is when I say that, when like you can't be good all the time, like I say that to cover my back.
Exactly.
It's because it's my job, and I have to make sure that I am good all the time. Like that's what it like for that job in that moment.
Yeah.
But I always just say that just to like
Yeah.
try and like, yes, please.
Alf.
Yeah.
And you've done Vikings, you've done some, obviously 3 of your best films are Grand Duke, Seed, and Prize Fighter.
100%.
But
100%.
let's not talk about those because we've all worked together on those. But like, what is?
The Seed was funny.
I love
The
it.
Seed.
In every conversation.
What is like what is a highlight moment? And like I said, you don't have to say any of those projects. But what is?
Do you know what's crazy? The connection. Just to jump in, like this is the gin kicking me in. If I didn't, because I know Alicia.
Yeah.
Alicia came to see the Duke because I introduced her to Alicia. Lucy then came to see Alicia in thing. So if we weren't friends, then Lucy
It
would have
wouldn't
never
have-
been in. That's crazy.
Well, I mean, we should tell the audience that. So basically, we were in Malta filming on a film called The Grand Duke of Corsica.
Do you want to go back a second before or not?
Before that?
So I auditioned for your movie at Soho House called The Grand Duke
Yes.
before we knew each other.
Yes.
So,
Really?
yeah.
I didn't know this.
I wanted to do acting for a little while.
Yeah.
And I went, this was like a few years ago, I wasn't doing anything. And my agent said, look, go and meet Matt. And this was through Adam Morse, top man. And I went to the Soho House, met you, and auditioned for The Grand Duke.
Yeah.
You said, yeah, you can have the part. And then I didn't hear anything for a year. And then it's typical Matt.
Typical Matt.
And then a year later, you ring. You said, "Look, we're shooting." So I flew out to Malta to film, and then I said, "Oh, you said, look, we need a girl for the part of what's her name? Alicia's part in the Duke, Pompeia." And I said, "Oh, my friend Alicia's like she's around that weekend."
Not Pompeii. That's the place in Italy.
Pompeii.
That's
that you
Pompeii.
don't
That's
like.
Pompeii.
Oh, Pompeii.
Pompeii. Yeah.
Pompeii.
So I
You don't
said,
like Pompeii?
Apparently not.
to be honest, I went with these guys.
I was there. He was bored as
Really?
fuck.
So-
Excuse the language.
So bored.
He was
I really
running
wanna
around
go.
trying to get out.
I
I'm
could not.
interested.
It's amazing. It was
I know,
unbelievable.
I should
I've
be.
heard
This
it's
is my
amazing.
autistic brain. I just didn't find buildings that had been, it was terrible. I just didn't find it interesting.
All right. That's,
Just the way I had
Moving
my-
on.
Didn't find it interesting that
Didn't find it
buildings had
interesting.
all this history.
I know.
He
yeah.
loved
Not
it.
I loved
entertaining
it.
enough for you.
It wasn't.
But so Alicia was in the film, which is one of our friends.
Well, no, we picked her up from the airport, and you picked her up from the airport, and I was with you, and it was the first time you'd met Alicia.
Yeah.
I introduced you to Alicia because you said you needed a part, and I said,
Exactly.
Alicia fits it. You asked Alicia, she was in the film, and then
you were with Alicia.
no, and then Alicia, Matt, what's going on with your memory?
Sorry, what?
And then we went to film. We went to this other film, and Alicia was Alicia. No, you and Daniel needed someone else. This has really hit me.
I know. I was just
Fucking
thinking the
hell.
same thing last
You
time.
can't get your words out.
No, this is.
Let me explain.
No, because you're missing out a part. Because so we're filming the Duke, right? Alicia's there.
Yes.
And you needed somebody else.
Yeah, to play the leper.
To play the leper.
Yes.
In the Duke. So Alicia
Fucking
said,
leper.
"Oh, my friend Lucy's available."
And she's with me now in
And then
Malta.
I messaged you,
No,
Lucy.
that's
Okay.
not how it happened. Because I turned up on the beach because you were supposed to go. It was a beach day or something.
That's
with you
right.
guys.
Yeah,
yeah.
It was a
I
beach
wasn't
day.
there.
He wasn't there.
Right.
I went there.
I was hungover. Went to the beach. And Alicia was like, we're going to the beach. Whatever. We're going to go and see the guys. I was like, fine. And then she bought a paddle board. We turned up, met you guys. And then, in that moment, she was like, "Oh, it's the producer. There's a da-da-da, whatever." And I was like, "Oh yeah, fine." And then was like, "I'm in a bikini." This, you know what I mean? I was like, I hadn't met these guys before. Just around a load of new blokes, and you're in a bikini. That was the vibe, and I was like, "This
On a beach
feels
in
a bit-"
Malta.
Do you know what I mean? Not that I'm that way anyway, but you know what I mean. I was like, "This is weird," but it wasn't. But then I remember getting on a paddleboard and then going out to the boat.
Someone's boat.
Anyway,
Lost you for 24 hours.
Do you know what happened though? Is because the tide.
So it wasn't
the
weird you
current
met-
took us
No,
out.
nice
you went
guys.
out. That's not true. You
No,
went out missing
got
on those
taken out
guys'
by the
boat for
current.
24 hours.
Right, we got taken out by the current and then couldn't get in.
And you ended up on a boat.
Look, there was a
Partying.
boat there. The guy said, "Come over." I judged it and was like,
Is he all
"This
right?
looks fun." You know?
They went on a
I
paddle.
don't know. No.
They went on a
Like,
paddle. They went on a paddleboard and ended up on the only boat in the ocean.
It was literally the only boat there.
In the ocean, there was a party.
Yeah.
Well, it was
and then
made
won't they
into a
freak you out
party.
the next day, the guys or something?
No. We left that night on the paddleboard and kind of pirately,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Left.
what happened from
Went
your
into
side
shore.
after that? Was
Because we had to come back to get our bags. Saw you guys on the beach, and
Yeah.
we'd obviously had a drink or two, so we're feeling much more comfortable. And then we were all having a chat, and then Alicia was like, "Oh yeah, da 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 da," and then someone said, maybe it was you, or somebody said there was a part that they hadn't cast, or she'd heard of something, and it might have been you. I can't remember, but
I messaged you on Instagram and said Matt's got a part.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
And then that's why it was mentioned. Okay, so it's down to you. You're great.
No, but I think also
It's
Alicia,
actually-
you come see Alicia, so Alicia was like, you.
Turning, and then when I left I remember it was like a quick sort of like, you guys were leaving, we grabbed our bags, and there was like, obviously we were all chatting for a while, and then it was, oh, there's a part that hasn't been cast, but you probably won't want it. It's small, and she's covered in leprosy, and it's gross. And I went, that's right up my street.
Yeah.
And I think there was like that thing of like,
I think they said then, but you got to kiss
Go.
this guy.
Oh, yeah.
And then you were like, I'm in.
oh, that's it.
Let's get that
That's
going.
it. That's it. Let's get married.
Do I have to?
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
definitely not doing
Yeah.
it now.
Yeah.
Shit. If I wasn't doing it before, I'm definitely not
Do
doing
you know
it
what it was? It was, and then it was Chris that was like, you need to speak. We need to arrange a meeting with Daniel.
Chris,
Yeah.
that wanker.
He's all right.
And hey,
Bit harsh.
He's all right.
No, he's not.
fucking hell.
Come on, this is a good story. I want to get to this.
And then you got to meet with Daniel. Anyway, so we were then obviously drinking that day. Next day, email from Daniel, got given the script, do a self-tape, send it over to Daniel. He gave me some notes back, sent him another one, met him for lunch, and then got the part. And then went home and then came back to film it. And that was it.
And that was, I don't know if you know this, that was one of my favourite scenes actually. Because
Was
it
it?
was really cool because it was one of those scenes that I didn't really know what was going to happen. We turned up in this little cute like area, if you remember
So
it.
gorgeous.
So
And then,
nice.
you know that sun that
The
day?
it was like a
coming
little
through the trees.
cove and the sun was coming through and like your makeup looked incredible and you were just like, you know, in the zone. Again, it was really nice. And we just, I don't know, it just felt really like, it was one of those scenes where I just didn't know what was going to happen. It didn't expect it and it just flowed really natural.
Yeah.
And the words were nice and we just had like, you know, it was a nice little moment, I
It
think.
was so lovely working with you that day. We had like it was like, it just flowed,
Yeah,
didn't it? It
just
was like
a-
straight away, and we had a little chat when we were on the chairs.
Yeah.
And then we did the scene, and it was just like it was an instant, like, I don't know.
Yeah, it was really great.
Yeah,
It was and
it was
I
a
said,
good one.
I said to Daniel, I said, this is like my favourite scene in the film. And he was like, yeah, it's my favourite scene as well. But maybe he's just got, you know, excited about watching us.
Throwing it back now, what did you feel, or how did you feel the seed went, and you're taking prize
Well,
fighter
no.
as well?
First of all, like the reason why I asked that question was to say what was like what you can. We'll talk about the seed and prize fight in a minute and other stuff. But what's been your like highlight up until now? Like what's one moment we've been on set and it's like right, everything's working.
Matt, do you mind
Go
if that's wicked though. Can we do that from the 15 to the you know, years old to then the first acting job?
Yeah.
Or not?
Yeah.
No, you decide. You decide.
Three-way
It's three
That's
different
fine.
questions. Well, you choose. There you go.
Yeah, you choose,
You
Luz.
answer one of those ones.
But she doesn't like
I
talking about
actually
herself.
can't remember what you both said, so I'm just going to go for the one that you said.
Attention span is working
no,
great.
It's just that. Yeah.
So take this away.
It's not that, but you know when you listen to each person
Yeah.
and you're a little bit
Sorry,
skeptic.
we're all
Yeah,
just
we're all like
sometimes.
ADHD.
when
Yeah,
people are
number
focused on
one
it's hard.
scat.
We've got three people focused on you with different conversations.
It's lovely.
and we've all got ADHD.
Love it.
So
It's lovely.
what is your like? What's your experience to date where you're like, do you know what? I'm earning good money. This is great. I'm feeling confident. I look sick with my costume. Like, what's
Got the
a moment?
I've got the moment for you.
Yeah.
And it's when there's I don't want to ruin it for any like Vikings fans or whatever, but it was when I became queen, and I'm like, everyone's died. I'm walking to the back of Kattegat, like onto the throne.
This is Vikings.
This is Vikings.
Which season?
Season 6.
Season 6.
This is the end. This
Right,
is the end
okay.
episode. The
Of
last
Vikings?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, okay.
And like you've got all the you've got like all these like the villagers or whatever, and all the Vikings behind me, like being like Ingrid, like shouting. And I just remember looking up, and obviously like you're in this like shack with the lights coming through, there's smoke, they're like shouting your name, and I was walking up to this throne, and I was like, fucking hell. I was like, how did I get here?
This is good.
And I like it like literally went through my body, and I just remember like I couldn't not but like almost like come out of
You couldn't.
me.
You were enjoying it. You were like,
yeah,
wow.
I was like
Yeah.
I couldn't help but like come out of my character a little bit and just have a moment of like, fucking hell, like
Wow.
what am I doing here?
Yeah.
Amazing.
And having that like, and it
Love
honestly like gave me like goosebumps. It was just like, it was amazing. And then I was like, I had to turn around on the throne and be like, long live the queen. And I was like, what?
That's
This
crazy.
is mad.
That's so cool.
That's amazing.
And it was a real moment for me. And because I started off as a slave, and I was only supposed to do 8 episodes, and I ended up doing 18.
Wow.
So it wasn't in my contract for that, for me to have, you know, stayed alive that long.
I love that confidence boost, because I've done stuff like that before where you're hired in for like 5 or 10 days and you end up doing more, and that just gives you such a confidence boost, because all it tells you is you're likable, people like working with you, and you're really good. And that's why they're hiring you back. Because if they didn't,
you hope those are the
no,
reasons.
it must be, because like, you know, if the plan's not there from the beginning, then, you know, you're likable, you're good to work with, and you're good at what you're doing. So that's a really nice moment. And Vikings obviously is so big. Obviously, you know, a little bit disappointed you didn't say something that we've done together, but you know, we'll drop that.
It was just
Fine.
that
You
it
couldn't
was
have
just,
included the pay, because that just.
no, it was what, yeah, you know how I feel.
No, I'm joking.
But that was like a tingly moment for me,
Yeah.
where I went like, oh, well done, Lou. Like,
Yeah.
well done. Like, you set your mind to this one, and that's what you wanted when you started this job.
Yeah.
And I wrote it in this diary, and I made my character, and I made an arc. I actually drew it in a notebook, which I still have.
Wow.
Amazing.
But the script didn't say that.
Well,
But
you drew
I
it before.
What's that?
You drew it before that happened.
I drew it when I first started the show, and I was like, "What do I
What
want?"
this will have? Okay.
No, it was like, "What do I want for my character?
Oops.
What does she want?
Okay.
What does she want?" And that's what I had in the back of my mind, and that's what I like tried to
That's
play.
so cool.
And then, I mean, I never thought it actually even. I didn't think it would come to fruition.
I love those
That's not what I thought.
vision like moments where, even when you just, you know, you say something, or you draw it, or you write it down before it's actually happened, and then it becomes, you know, real. It's
Yeah.
the famous thing with Jim Carrey, where he
Oh yeah, the £10 million check.
he wrote the £10 million check like years before, and he wrote the date on it, and he had that $10 million
Amazing.
when he did Dumb and Dumber, and he was like, yeah, I wrote it myself, like
Yeah.
when I had nothing.
Do you know
And
what?
he
I don't
ended
think
up-
it's
he
the
ended up-
visualization that works. I think it's the goal that works. You know, it's like we spoke before, like you either float with the tide or swim with a goal.
Yeah.
So you just float along, or you say, right, I'm going to set myself a goal. I think what Lucy did was like set herself that goal, and then she's just, done everything to achieve that
when
goal.
you write something down and you repeat stuff, there's something that happens. It's weird. If you're reading something, even if you're reading a book and you're just reading it in your mind, when you flip that to reading it out loud, and you're like there's a slight different connection to it, and it's like, ooh, I'm listening more, I'm learning more, I'm more engaged, even just by saying it. So it's like a slightly different thing. That's a great experience. What Vikings has done quite. I mean, it's just. I was just about to say the reason why it's saying about you hope so. That's the reason. But we've worked together 3-4 times now, and that's why we keep calling you back and wanting to work with you, because you're so good, you're so nice and easy to work with, and it's just like, and you just turn up, deliver, and then go out partying with Jay afterwards. So yeah,
we have had some good nights out.
Turn up like 6 o'clock in the morning. Where's Lucy?
No.
Oh yeah, she's on the beach
I
with me.
never
It
do
was 8 in
that.
the morning.
Oh no, but not when I'm working though. Isn't that's the
No,
weekend?
she was a good one actually.
You mean a Sunday
I
going
was
into
the good one, wasn't
You mean
I?
a
Yeah,
Sunday
she was
going
good.
into a
I was the
Monday?
good one.
She rocked
no,
up. She rocked up ready to go, but the other two were fucked.
I know. I put
joking.
myself. No, I'm like. Is when it comes like. I mean, I like to enjoy my life, but no, when it's like when I'm working or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm good like that.
It's what Deontay Wilder said, and it's always stuck with me when he said, "Speak it, believe it, receive it," and you epitomise that in so many ways. And just I'm in awe of you when you're on set, and I'm just like, fucking hell, she's got it down to like a T, And it's really inspiring watching you, and then now hearing the backstory of how you got there. It's really
You
it's
inspired Jay to want to act. I mean, I laughed so much, it killed me. He was watching Lucy act on the seed.
And there was one scene, right, that she did, and it was I was
pool?
just like fascinated, because do you remember this scene when you were in the pool?
Yeah.
And you're screaming your
Yeah.
lungs out as if you were possessed and being fucked by an alien. In
We should show that. We
in the
might
pool.
cut that out and show it, because it's a
we'll-
really
we'll
good
do
it's a
little
really good
take
thing.
on, showing that specific
Yeah.
reel. And you were just screaming, and we were like in the middle of this deserted area in Malta, and like you were screaming your lungs out, and I was just like, fuck, like I'm even getting like freaked out. And this was a sci-fi horror as well, and I was just getting like freaked out by the way you were screaming. It was like what's the word, gargling in your voice, and it was just like, fuck, this is scary as fuck. But she was just so in character. You were just like, you know, I think it was after a night out as well. So yeah.
The funny thing you didn't know is I wanted to tell you this on the day, but I didn't want to distract you. So I'm watching him, and his face just changed. Jay's face, he just went, his eyes opened, and he went, it's like as if something came into him, and he went like that. And I said, what's that wrong? You're right. He looked at me, swear down, looked at me, honestly, as serious as you can do. He's laughing. He went, I want to be an actor. And I pissed myself. And I told Sophie straight away, I was like, he wants to be an actor. And she started laughing. And he was like, no, I'm going to be an actor. So if you still want that, you've got to push that through.
I've done like you. I started off in dance.
Yeah.
I went into theatre. I did loads of I did Grease, I did Fame, I did Woman in Black. I did loads of loads of different performances, theatre performances, and then I did a bit of training with Ron Bear and loads of other stuff like that. So that was amazing, and like physical theatre and contemporary ballet, West African, like loads of shit. And then I was
Keep
just
naming it, Jay.
No, I know,
This
it's
is
just like
amazing.
I love all these
Didn't know you
little
do Ron Bear?
genres. Yeah.
I auditioned
just-
there.
well,
What advice
only
could
for,
you
like,
give to Jay
6
if he wants to act?
But yeah, acting wise, I can now see how difficult it is compared to theatre. It's like it's a different level of performance.
I think there's just so much going on. That's all it is. And once
Yeah.
you learn what those are, and you learn where you're supposed to, like, not where you're supposed to be, but like if you're still able to do more than it's about doing more than more than just one thing.
Yeah.
You know, and it's about being able to get lost in what you're doing, being lost in the character, but also being aware of everything else, but like
In
almost
reality,
like as in like that's like as in like I live in here and I can do all this in here, but still being aware of like this little thing going around here and where I'm supposed to be at what time. And so if like, you know, for continuity, being like you can get lost in that scene, but you actually do have to pick up that glass because they've got a great shot from this angle and you have the glass in your hand. In your right hand, at this level, and not here. You know what I mean? Like all these little things.
That's what I said. There's so much of a technical like skill to it as well.
Yeah, but still being able to be lost and stay true to your character and be able to like keep going on that is a.
What's the one piece of advice you give Jay if he wants to act? And you can say, don't do it. If you want.
No, I mean, I love it. Like I love it. I really do.
You don't have to give me him.
I know
give
I'm
him
looking at you because
you can just say to him like,
because I'm lying.
what's the one bit of advice you could give to him if you said right if you want to?
Consistency is key.
Wow, there you
Like
go.
with anything, I suppose.
There you go. That's good.
Yeah, it is like like yeah. I used to work at this place called Dirty Harry's on Wardour Street. Like kind of like Coyote Ugly vibes.
Yeah.
It was such a laugh actually. I loved it. And I was training as a cycle instructor. I was working front of house, and then I actually opened the Ned.
I joined.
Yeah, I worked at the Ned.
I joined the Ned as a founding member.
Did you?
Yeah.
So I was working there, and I was working there, and I was doing something else
Really?
anyway.
What, in the vault downstairs?
No, just upstairs. I was what's it when you greet people?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What, at the door
Hosting.
or on the bar thing?
Hosting.
So you're
Hostess.
working 4 jobs
I
while
was
you.
working
Wow.
for, I didn't, there was not a lot of sleep, but I was also auditioning.
But
and
you
like,
live near the city?
No, I was living in Hackney at the time. But yeah, no, I was just grafting. Like there was like certain things I needed to do.
Yeah.
And I remember I was working late at night, then training early in the morning from like 6 a.m. and then maybe start a shift at like 10 or like 11. And I then got a phone call, and I'll never forget that. And that for me was a real
Moment.
That was a real moment. I mean, she wept.
Yeah.
She did.
Wow.
And I was, it was a real
How many auditions was there for that?
I just sent in a tape.
Wow.
Did you?
Yeah, but I've been auditioning for Vikings for nearly 2 years, for lots of different roles. And yeah, no, it was just from a tape.
Okay.
I auditioned loads. Kept saying no.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kept-
But they keep bringing you back.
Yeah.
'Cause they try and slot you in.
Yeah,
I think
if they get
that's-
to know your face, they kind of bring you back. That, I mean, I love that because you're working 4 jobs. You don't know, you know what you want to do. You don't know where the next job is going. What you're secretly doing, which you may not have known at the time, is you're training your body for your future, and you're training yourself, your work ethic, going, this is what it takes.
Yeah.
And that's like, most people can't even get to that point. They can't work that hard to know what it takes because they don't have the answer. If someone said to you, right, you're going to work really hard now and you're going to get paid this amount of money and you're going to get this job in 6 months, everyone would work their socks off.
Yeah,
but when you
course.
don't know,
it's just unknown.
It's
you don't
unknown.
even know if this is going to work out.
Exactly.
You don't know if to be honest with you, I thought that maybe I was going to be a cycle instructor another space,
I
which
saw
I
you
would
there.
have loved. You saw me
Yeah.
there. But don't get me wrong, I still go and do cycle now. Like I still love it. It gives me that escape. It gives me that, like, I think about one thing, I visualize, I really, and using that with physical exercise as a dancer, it's just, it just does everything for me.
But you kept your main passion, and that's like you didn't know that you might have known at the time that you're working those 4 jobs, and then all of a sudden you're creating that opportunity that ended up being Vikings and all these kind of things and preparing you. And I think that's not many people have that skill or attribute or even that consistency, like you said, the passion and everything.
It's and it's work ethic, and it's keeping and
people
staying
expect
driven.
immediate results, and
this
it just
is the
doesn't.
thing. No one's willing to really work for things these days, because everything, like going onto like social media and having like everything just wants now, and things that are great, they take a while to build. And you have to be in it for the long run, and that's what it's about. That's what it's like. That's what it's like with work. That's what it's like with the relationships. That's what it's like in general. If it's, I mean, don't get me wrong. I know things do happen quickly now, but there's always a backstory. There's always somewhere at some point that all came from.
They've gone through some trials and tribulations.
They looked at like the famous paintings on the ceiling of the what is it, Da Vinci? Sistine Chapel. They looked at the Beatles when he wrote his first. They looked at Wolfgang Mozart when he wrote his first, and they all looked like they became successful really young. But they'd all done this, 10,000 hours. They'd all put in 10,000 hours of work, and it's almost impossible to just say, right, Jay wants to become an actor. He's going to become an actor tomorrow. Like it's
a process.
Yeah, but most people can't identify that one thing.
Yeah,
I think that's the problem. Most people, but you did. You were like, from a very young age, you're like, I want to do this. I want to do the acting thing. I want to stick to this one thing. And you've just stuck to that one thing. You've not strayed from that path. And I think that's like the key, as well as being very talented and all the other parts.
But you just reminded me of something. I got told that I couldn't. So from doing Dirty Dancing, because I was so young, I was like, well, and I remember being at Tring, and in the mornings, all we did was act. Like, because I did performing arts A-level, but because I was obviously at a drama school, or like an acting, like performing arts school, my performing arts like mornings it was solely acting. That's all I did. And we did screen and we did stage and we studied loads of different things. But then I obviously got Dirty Dancing, and I remember calling my agent, being like, I'm interested in this. And they were like, well, you can't do that. And I was like, why can't I do that? They were like, because you've done musical theatre. And I was like, so?
Yeah.
Like,
That is like the biggest misconception, and even the amount of times people have said no to me, and they said almost, what's up?
No, we need to check her mic. Sorry.
Yeah. Such a big misconception is how we think and how we see those people that say no, and it's like if someone tells you no a lot, you're one person that kind of gets beat down, or you change it and you listen to those people and you end up not doing what you started to believe.
Yeah.
If you turn that no into no, actually, fuck you, I'm gonna make that a yes. People don't realize how much of a positive thing that is later in your life, because at the time you get like upset, you get beat down, you're like, why did they say no? Why did they tell me I couldn't do that? Why did they tell me I'm not right for that, or I'm not ready? And that's like a hurtful moment, but that moment, as long as you say to yourself, I'm gonna do that. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. That later on is like, I love those people that said no.
Yeah.
There's a misconception of people thinking like no is bad. Let loads of people tell you no, because that's what spurs you on. And going back to your 10,000 hour thing, that's really interesting, because I remember watching this documentary before, and it just like was just the clearest message in the world. It said, look, your brain takes 4 to 6 months to process anything from like a creative to a habit. So when you learn like an exam, you'll learn the exam and the results, and then if you come out and you don't pick it up, the following week you've probably forgot it. And it's the same, but the easiest method to think of it is the gym, right? You've got to go to the gym for months before you see any kind of change, and your brain doesn't process the gym as a habit until you continue to do it so much. So, and that you just have to apply that to so many things in life. Like you just got to keep doing something, because you get better at it, you change it, you alternative, you mold it.
I don't know anyone who's been successful at anything just by saying, I want to do this.
Yeah.
You've got to put all the time and dedication into it, and that's what.
And you quite often got to give up everything.
Yeah,
as well.
Sacrifices.
Sacrifices the thing.
Luce, can I ask you about La La Land? What you thought of it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Were you in it?
No, I mean
LA.
LA.
Oh,
She went
right.
to LA recently, and I was kind of jealous. Saw the
Oh, I
pictures.
think meant La La Land, the film. Do you like it? Do you like LA?
Well, I did, and I didn't at that time. But I was like, I'm going to come back here, but I'm not coming back until I'm in a different place.
Did you like it? Did you like it? Did you, now
I
when
had
you
the
came
best
back?
time.
Yeah.
I really did.
It's a weird place, LA. It kind of
It is.
has you can go there and have the best time, or you can go there and be like, what the hell? It's bonkers, and there's so many ups and downs of like different places and different people.
Yeah.
It's a bit crazy, I think.
It is a bit crazy, but I always think that, if you stick to, I've got some really gorgeous people that I know there now. One of which I met on Vikings,
Right.
And once you meet one like good un, you then might meet another one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't need many people.
Yeah.
I'm one of those people. I'm quite happy on my own.
Yeah.
Like I like to do my own thing. So this time I just had I just met some really lovely people, had a gorgeous time. It was very positive, and I wasn't ready to leave.
And LA is such
I'm
a
always
creative
ready.
place, I think. There's so much creativity going on in LA. I think it just feels like everyone's always doing something interesting.
Yeah, well, people do stuff
Yeah.
there. They want to go for a meeting, even if it doesn't turn out to like work
Mm-hmm.
or whatever. But if it does, great. But at least it happens.
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like people are more willing to sort of be like, yeah, why not? Although having with COVID and stuff, it's a bit difficult.
Luce, what's been like, not to flip it into like a more serious question, but what's been like, for people listening and watching, it's very easy to talk about everyone's highs and, been in Vikings and been in all of our amazing films that we've done together, all those amazing experiences.
They were amazing.
Oh, thanks,
Weren't they?
Luce. Yeah, I like
Fucking
that.
blast. I mean, high five.
We can leave him out now. No, I'm joking. But like, what's been
I
like?
got the one before that without you, so I wouldn't have met them without you.
Yeah,
there we
yeah.
go.
Yeah.
He's like, James is always like some weird glue somewhere that's like
Thanks,
made
mate.
things happen.
Weird clue.
No.
PVC.
Sometimes
pretty
it sticks,
tipsy off these
sometimes it
fucking
doesn't. But what's been like?
So a prick stick.
That's a good one from him.
I missed that one.
Like a prick stick.
Prick stick. But what's been like? Give us.
Of course you did.
Joe.
Of course you did.
You got an 8 out of 10 for that, Joe.
Yeah, thanks.
What's been like? Give us a moment where you've been. Do you know what? I've been down and out. Fucking. I've been through so much anxiety and panic attacks on prize fire and all this like crazy stuff that I'm starting to talk about, and I think it's really interesting to talk about. What's been a moment where you've been down and out, where you've been like, "Fuck, what am I doing? I don't feel great." And what's been that moment? Where were you in your life, and how did you?
Come back from it.
Yeah.
It happens more often than you think.
Yeah.
And
It does.
it's not something that goes away. Like it's just like part of it, especially when you're in like an unstable career. Because no matter how we can be like, oh, it's great, and you're good at what you do, you try hard, all these things. There isn't, there can be a day where I'll get an email or I'll get rejected from something, which happens,
Regularly.
not daily, but it's like
Yeah.
at least a week, like every week, that you might get turned away or whatever it is. And it's just about picking. You learn that you learn to have the tools to pick yourself back up again.
Yeah.
But I mean, this has been happening for such a long time for me because I started so young. So the rejection is just like, it's through the roof. Like the amount of times. It was even just a few weeks ago that I was really gutted about something and was just like, am I even doing the right thing? I have the same thoughts as, everyone has the same thoughts as everyone else. Like we all experience the same sort of stuff. And recently I've started having, I've had panic attacks as well.
Yeah.
I had it in an airport, which is just horrendous. And
Wow.
I was like, I knew in the back of my mind, because I have a strong inner voice that was like, from anxiety, but like this was just like so much that I talked myself round, but I had to get on an airplane.
They say
was it something
It's a
in your personal
nightmare.
life, or was it just getting on a plane?
It was about an audition. An audition, and I'd had a meeting, and I got this massive. Suddenly, I had 3 or 4 other scenes to learn, but it was a job that I really wanted. But this isn't like a dark time necessarily, as far as that's a positive.
You just put that pressure on yourself, I suppose.
100%, yeah, because I sort of go, yeah.
I think we had a joint panic attack once.
Did we?
Yeah.
Oh, well,
We were in Malta, What are you laughing at?
That's hilarious.
No, we
It's
did.
just something to like have together.
No, we did. I
Yeah.
think we had a joint panic attack. We were
Joint
in
panic
Malta
attack.
together, and we were walking around somewhere, and I was like, we had an ice cream. I was like, Luce.
Oh my god, yes, I remember. And then we're down by the water.
Yes.
And I was like, something's not right. Have we
I said,
eaten
I don't feel-
something?
yeah.
Has our drinks been spiked?
Yeah, I said, Luce, I don't feel quite right.
You sure it wasn't brain freeze from the
And
ice
then
cream?
I set it off on her because she then went, James, I don't feel quite right. I was like, and I went to the bathroom. I was like, sort of, you like look in the mirror to like just check. You're
like,
am I still me? Am I
Yeah.
still me?
Yeah.
And I went into and I was like, Luce, I don't feel right. Like, has someone like put something in our
I
ice
actually remember that because you
Oh,
told me
that's
about
good.
it.
And we were like, because I think you can like
Yeah.
be an echo chamber and freak each other out.
Yeah.
Oh, and you
I tried
pass on energy.
Actually, I remember thinking, like, I need to calm him down. Like, even though I was like there, I was
Yeah.
like, no, it's all fine. I'm sure it's okay.
I remember you
there
telling
was
me
a
that.
weird thing, but
And
it
there
was
was no
also
reason-
really hot.
But
Yeah.
you
It was
doing
boiling.
that,
But there was
him
no-
maybe calmed yourself down as well. At the
Yeah,
same-
being like,
same time.
oh, yeah, it's one of those things.
Yeah.
You're like, we're fine.
Yeah.
Let's breathe.
Yeah.
And you're like helping that person, but you're
some
actually going, let's breathe.
Yeah.
Calm down.
yeah, telling yourself.
Yeah.
And like, but we got out of it eventually.
That's interesting.
I didn't even have a hangover.
I remember you telling me because I
Wasn't
remember you
drinking for a
saying,
few
I remember you
years at
saying
that
about
point.
it, and you said you were with Lucy.
But it's funny that it's interesting that
I
They,
probably gave it to you.
I really believe in this kind of sentence that anxiety is the future and depression is the past.
100%.
And
They
everything.
call. Sorry.
I was thinking for ages about saying that.
Go.
No, it's
Go on,
fine.
start again.
No, it's just that everything that relates to you. You know, you just said you had a panic attack recently and anxiety from a job that you were probably thinking about getting.
Yeah.
And it's so weird when you break that down. You just go, God, everything that makes me depressed is things that I think about in the past. And everything that makes me anxious is all these little niggles I think about in the future. And there could be little things like, what am I doing tomorrow? What am I doing today? Or what I need to do later? Whatever. And I think there's such a weird connection. And if you like just say that, you can kind of separate the two and in some form
I do
help.
think there's an element of harnessing that anxiety, because if you let that anxiety take control, it will then take over yourself, and you then don't have your blinkers on and think about the vision.
Yeah, sometimes it's impossible though.
So
It,
then
it
it's
takes over your
impossible.
nervous
Yeah.
system.
Yeah,
And
just-
you're,
It does.
Yeah,
It's
and-
adrenaline.
yeah, exactly. And you're literally just there. Like, I have it sometimes. I'm like, oh my God.
And it
My brother has
consumes
it
your
really
mind.
badly too.
Yeah.
What were you going to say?
And
I agree with you. The future, they call like the anxiety gap, right? So there's an anxiety thing when you're thinking about the future. If you're always thinking about past memories, you're prone more to depression than anxiety. But I'm so used to it now. I remember when I got my first panic attack, I was like, what is this? I'm going to die. I'm going to have a heart attack. That's
Yeah.
kind of what, it's just all the adrenaline in your system is sort of building up and you don't know what's going on. But I'm so used to handling it now. But I think when you sort of half expect it, you're like, I'm going to fight this. So if I'm going into a podcast, I'm going here, it might come, but I can just ignore it now.
Yeah.
But it takes a long time. So I feel really sorry for people in their first few years.
Yeah.
Like a few of my mates have rang me through the sort of pandemic, right? And they've never had panic attacks. Like, James, I'm having a panic attack. And I'm like, I guess you see the world's a funny place now. And I feel sorry for them because they'll phone an ambulance or they'll have heart palpitations. But now, after many years of dealing with it, okay, this isn't going to kill me. No one's ever died from a panic attack. So what I do now, I notice what's happening. So if I leave the house for no reason or I'm rushing and I sort of can't breathe properly, I realise, I'm just moving quick. Everything's moving quick. So all you need to do is lie down on a flat surface and completely slow everything down.
Yeah.
And another thing I found that really helps is because you're asphyxiating yourself, so you're hyperventilating. So the thing that I found really helps, and I learned this from a deep diving course, was to hold your breath.
amazing.
Yeah. So you're like, because you notice that your breath, they call it. There's a name for where you're.
It's light, isn't it? You're not taking proper breath.
Yeah.
and they don't say try and breathe, they say try and
Instead
hold
of
it. Yeah.
going like this, which is very good. Like my sister's a yoga instructor, so she said do the 4 up, hold for 7. The box breath, which is really good, and that really helps. But the one that I found helps the most is it's called tidal. I think you're tight. So you could breathe up and down there. When you're having anxiety, your breath is just there, right? It's just this short, sharp breath. So what I've done now, after learning from this deep dive instructor, is hold your breath. So either on the up or the down, hold it. Because what happens is the CO2 and everything in your body kind of neutralizes. And what I do is I end up calming myself down and all the tingliness stops.
That's very interesting because you would think to get more oxygen into the brain helps you think clearly, but I suppose it's doing the opposite where you're holding your breath, you're sort of counteracting what you should be doing, that's getting oxygen to the brain, but maybe a chemical reaction does that in another way.
Breathing's is like a really like magical thing when it comes to anxiety. Like as in like what I've learned. I mean, there's people that do breathing classes now.
Yeah, it's incredible.
You're supposed to feel like elated.
It's the same thing with smoking. People think the smoking calms your nerves. It's not the smoking. It's the breathing.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's the breathing.
It's
So what do you do then if you have a bad day? Do you kind of, because there's another side where you just look, if you just have a bad day or you're tired, you go, right, forget it, I'm just going to stay in and just relax or whatever. Do you have tools and things you do? Do you do yoga? Do you meditate? Do you just like go, right, loose, and I've been here before, this is what I need to do? Or
well, I started meditating when I was 23.
Okay.
And I used that like as in like there was this one time where I was like choreographing the show. An ex of mine had written it and I was choreographing it and I was in it. And I remember having this moment, I got into this dressing room and I was like, oh my God, I'm going to go. Like you could feel it, and my hands started to go a little bit funny. And this was quite a few years ago now. And there's this like, I think it's 10 minute positive endorphin meditation on YouTube.
Right.
And I would literally just go for it and I would pop it in my ears. And I remember sitting underneath the dressing table and was just like I literally just went into another place.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's kind of like a way of me coping if things are really bad. Like if I actually am struggling, then I will do that. But as a maintenance thing for anxiety, exercise. I trained as a cycle instructor, obviously, like I said, and I'm also a yoga instructor now. And I like these things. Like I wanted to learn them to like do them properly.
Yeah.
Right.
And they are such a good tool. Like they're so just exercise and what you eat and what like as in like just the breathing and things, and it's just such a good thing.
That's crazy.
I'm a massive believer of that. Like when I was studying dance and choreography, we would spend like an hour and a half just stretching our bodies. And I remember one of the dance teachers would play like this kind of African bombata type music and like the drums, but it was like a slow off the beat type beat, and it was like it was quite bassy, and I remember like having those vibrations going through my body, and it was like therapeutic because it was like, you know, these vibrations are going through me, and I felt like I was almost elongating my muscles even more so because I was just such in the trance, and then stretching, and it was like healing, it was like meditation. And now I do that quite a lot. Like every time I know if I'm going to go for a sparring match with Matt or James, I'll do like the night before, I'll make sure I'm stretching, and I'll play like roots reggae. And I grew up with like a lot of roots reggae music.
Was that from your parents?
Just from my dad, yeah.
Amazing.
And he'd be smoking a spliff in the garage with his cousins, and I'd be a little kid just running around. And I just grew up with like Sizzler and Dennis Brown and all these amazing artists.
But it's all movement. If you move,
vibrations, the movement. But it's just like putting yourself that puts you in a calm state. And I loved it.
Yeah, but endorphins as well, like that's like a massive thing. Like it does calm the body. Like releasing endorphins is like it is calmer.
It's
like,
science.
It's like,
you're moving your blood, you're moving your oxygen, and everything's moving around his body.
Yeah, but releasing that chemical actually calms you.
Yeah.
That's the thing. So it's like if you can get your endorphins going, then like it is like a.
It's almost like a reward system. That endorphin, it's a chemical reaction in your body when you've done something, and then you go right. Your body goes right. I'm now receiving these endorphins.
Yeah.
It's like a reward system for what you've just done, and then you start feeling great about yourself. So yeah, it's amazing.
What have you got? Anything coming up, Luce? What are you doing at the moment? Are you just kind of
so I just
watching Prize Fighter on repeat, or
100%.
You can watch it on there, but it
Makes
stops
you feel
at 10
funny.
minutes.
Let me tell you a story. Right, he's fucking. I come over for the first time the other day.
This is so funny.
Right,
actually really
his
funny.
mate is there. His Australian mate. I can't do an Australian
Love
accent.
Australians.
Yeah, but he's like, "Oh, mate, like, Be good
You're
to.
supposed to be an actor, mate.
Australia.
Be good to
No,
like.
they used to watch.
Prize fighter. Be good to watch. Like, he was
Prize
like,
fighter.
all right, mate. Like, yeah. And I was like, oh yeah, put it on. Let's put it on. But like, James has messaged me like, mate, I fucking love the film. See, I can't stop watching it.
He hasn't bought it.
It's a
so
really
you
good
can't-
film.
yeah,
Blah blah
hasn't
blah
played
blah
yet.
blah.
Oh, 10 minutes in. Oh no!
Let's find-
It's
yeah.
only gone 10 minutes.
Do you know the funny thing?
No.
Do you know the funny thing? It's his scene.
It's scene.
No, listen.
It's his scene.
Listen, I find it on Amazon, and it says resume play. It says resume play, 6 minutes and 6 seconds. And I'm like, oh, what happens after 6 minutes and 6 seconds? The end of his scene. So he's just watched his scene. That's it.
Look.
No, he hasn't got to me because we're still playing Young Gem. So anyway,
So I was I've actually been quite busy. I was doing I got a role in I Hate Susie
okay.
series on Sky, and then I've just finished filming an ITV drama, and now I'm doing a video game. So I just had like
Oh,
a
wow.
head scan.
Oh, I saw
yesterday,
that. What's that
which
about?
is-
That's amazing.
It's called Blood Runners, but yeah, it was. I have it like it's literally just the beginning, and like it's all just like building. I'm not sure what it's going to turn into yet.
So they were taking videos of you from all angles, right?
Yeah, like from like here,
Wow.
like my whole head. Yeah.
This is all through your agent as well.
No, the first 2 were through my agent. The second 2 were just
Yeah.
through me. And I've got another film called Boudica, which I'm filming in starting September.
Okay. Need to know when you're available for obviously
Yeah,
ONX stuff.
The next one.
What don't you do the Comic-Con stuff as well?
Do you do the
That's
Comic-Con
so
stuff?
cool.
I'm going to Glasgow this weekend.
Wow.
Oh, no,
have you been
next
Glasgow?
weekend.
Have you been Glasgow before?
My dad's from Glasgow, so I've been going there. I've been
Oh,
going
wow.
there since
It's amazing,
years.
huh?
I fucking love Glasgow.
Yeah. It's cool.
Yeah, Glasgow's
What a
wicked,
place.
and Edinburgh. Edinburgh's wicked.
Edinburgh.
Yeah, I
Edinburgh's
like Edinburgh.
beautiful, isn't
Yeah.
it? Like
Yeah.
Glasgow's
So beautiful.
a bit more like dirty.
You can
Yeah.
understand why the J.K. Rowling wrote Harry Potter by living like she wrote it in Edinburgh, and it's like
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
literally just looks
Yeah.
like Harry
Magical.
Potter.
It's got
But
that
that's
gothic
like
the
feel.
Witchery or something. That
yeah,
restaurant.
it's super. Yeah.
It's cool, isn't it?
Yeah,
When
it's
it's
super,
like all in the
super like
castle.
like
Yeah.
weird and what like that's so cool with the Comic-Con stuff because I guess you just get paid to travel around and talk and meet people that like
and-
are fans of you essentially.
Yeah, or just meet. I mean, obviously, like I love people, like I do, and I love meeting them, and I like to have a chat, and
Yeah.
I like to know about them, and it's kind of just like, yeah.
That's why you're here with the board men.
Board man.
You guys, yeah, you're really difficult to be around. But no, it's it's fun, and you get
Yeah.
to meet people who like love the show, and also most of the time they actually like they pick out more things than you do from what you did, you know, which is always really interesting.
That's wow.
It shows like
analyzing.
yeah, and like things they're like, oh my god, when this happened and this, and I was just like, oh wow, I hadn't even thought of it like that, you know, and they really love it. And like, I mean, I obviously love what I do, so it's really lovely to meet people that also, thanks Alfie, that also love
Interpretation is so important, and the beauty about what we do in terms of the acting side is so many people can interpret something differently. And sometimes it can be good and bad. You can, like you said, and you can just go, wow, I never thought of it like that. And
Yeah.
someone saw that scene or saw that moment and thought of this. And it's like, I never thought of it like that. It's like, there's so much.
I've got something to tell you as well. Someone came up to me. I was at a German Comic-Con, which was really fun. And this woman came over, and I could tell that she was a little bit like, I was like, come say hi. Like, you also like, you don't have to buy a photo or a signature or whatever. I was like, you can just come for a chat if you want to talk. And I was like, come on over. And she was just like, I just continue what you're doing. And I was like, oh, thanks. And she went, I've seen all of your work. And I was like, what? She was like, I've just finished watching The Seed, Grand Duke. Like all of it. And I was just
Wow.
like, oh, wow. I guess because, when you do things, it's very few, like, obviously, apart from my family and my mates that would be like, I mean, some of them haven't even seen all of it, but that like, you just think the support's there, which was just this. And I was like, oh, like, thanks.
Some people are just in the
Yeah.
moment, so they watch what's coming out. But someone that's watched everything is like, yeah.
They've been like,
But
I watched
they're
what
a fan
you
of
do.
you, yeah.
I know.
Right,
I was
yes.
like, that's
Incredible,
very cool.
yeah.
I was like, thank you. That's what it's about.
Yeah.
I was like, I haven't had that yet, really. 'Cause,
Yeah.
people, it's
It's
I
a
don't know.
moment with somebody else.
Yeah, when would that
really-
happen? And
yeah.
also, she was not gonna say, and I'm grateful that she did. So I was like, oh, that's lovely.
That's
Yeah.
so smart.
That's like another endorphin, another endorphin kick.
It's just one
but
of
a
those-
different version of it. Like
Yeah,
it's
I guess it's like theatre, but not like it's the version of theatre.
that hard work, that graft that you've been doing, and it's a nice little feeling.
So, Luce, have you got like a plan for the future? Are you going to so Matt's plan was, I'm doing all right with acting, but I'm going to make my own movies. Have you got like, I want to produce, I just want to act in films, I want to sing. Have you got a specific, like, in your mind, if you don't mind me asking? I know it's a personal question.
Obviously, acting is just. I still have got some things that I haven't achieved yet that I want to.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was talking about when you've got like a thing. Like I'm still building towards my thing. So that for now kind of takes up most of my time. As far as like tunnel vision mentality is concerned. But I guess I was thinking about getting to producing something. I did think about directing, but I actually think maybe producing is something that I'd prefer to do.
What about the writing?
Is it?
Writing?
Yeah.
I actually do write. I've actually started picking that up.
Okay.
I did a little bit of it years ago, and then I would never finish, and so now I've just started to try and be a little bit more disciplined in that.
Yeah.
But it's difficult for me because I like to do things.
Yeah.
physically.
You're always doing something. Whether you're
always doing
LA, then
something.
Ibiza, then you're always moving and always doing
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, I like to do things. I like to be I'm a doer. I like to do the stuff.
Yeah. Because what's lovely about you two, like, I thought is, in my small little bit of movies and stuff, like, I don't want to say anything bad about people, but, a lot of the actors and actresses I met, were not what I expected. I heard someone the other day say, they didn't want to meet their idols because they'd be kind of disappointed. And I met Matt, mainly through Matt, like some actors, and I just thought, okay, well, they're kind of really self-involved, or they're really, I wouldn't choose them as my friend outside of this. But with you, obviously I do with you. And it's really rare to have that. And that's why I'm like, when I'm hanging around with them, I'm like, this is fucking great. And with you as well. So it's like, surely together you guys could create something where, you don't have all the crap that comes along with movies where where you haven't got the nicest people in the world.
Yeah, I mean, I feel the same. I like the comfortability of doing scenes with Lucy's. Like we've done a weird leper scene together, which was just like bonkers, and we've also like played like brother and sister, and it's just been like equally like normal and weird, and we're like laughing and joking about something, and then on set, and she's like, "Shut up!" And we've done like funeral scenes together where I'm trying to make her laugh. Like we've done that, and it's a nice. You're right. It's like a nice moment. What James is getting to is, would you like to be the host on the female host on the Boardman podcast?
100%.
Jay's going to be exiting pretty soon. He's done his time. Done a couple of episodes.
Sorry. No,
Hand over the red card.
He's
he's
a
fucking off to
joking.
Eastern Europe.
Are you actually?
He's a
I'm not
two-hit
now,
wonder.
no.
Don't you dare.
No, I'm
Don't
not.
you
I'm
dare.
not.
He's a
staying.
two-hit wonder. He's done his intro in one episode.
Yeah.
And now we're like, let's bring you in.
I left these two. I left you two in Cannes the last time I saw
Yeah,
you.
you did. What a night. But yeah, I wish you'd stayed like later because I just wish you stayed, really.
It's a
What,
good,
that night?
But that's a good point.
Yeah.
Just going back to that, maybe we should think about. I think if knowing you, like, just producing's just horrible.
Yeah, I know.
Don't do it. Honestly,
Yeah, I know.
it'll just destroy you. And do it if you
No, do you know what I'm doing?
do it if you really want to do it.
I want to ask
Like-
Lucy without like being, too sort of forward, like, what are you thinking for the
Right, what are you
future?
going to ask me, James?
What are you like? Can you ask this? Like, do you know? Am I allowed to ask this?
Just ask it.
No, I was joking.
Go on.
Yeah, I've got to ask you something. I don't want to be too forward. And I was like,
Yeah,
go,
it's
go,
like,
and
here we go.
I was insinuating, go ahead and ask
Are you
me.
going to ask
Yeah.
us to marry you?
Not going to ask
that's
this
where I
memory.
was
No, it's like, do you want to have like, do you want to have like kids? Do you want to have family? Do you want to be like single? Because a lot of people like now want to be perpetually single. Do you want to have like the best? Just be you like time on your own. Nice. I find this interesting.
No,
it
it's
is
a good question.
interesting. It's a good question.
No, I just come through. It was like around November I became single, and then I've just been. It took me a while. Like,
Views
I'm a
just went up.
Very sensitive person.
Cheers, Luce.
Please
Yeah.
like and subscribe.
And
Please like and subscribe.
Yeah, exactly.
All those subscribers, sounds like you've got to go through us first.
If we get to 100,000 views, I'll post Lucy's number on the comments.
I thought you were going to say Lucy's what? I was like, yeah.
The pictures.
Yeah. Only my fans. My only fans. That's it.
Moosey Lighting,
Anyway.
OnlyFans.
Only fans. Only my fans.
That's such a good question because I see you as like we get along really well. And sometimes you're like a little sister, sometimes you're this, sometimes that, and it's a good question.
What's
Like,
this and that?
Yeah.
What's this and that?
yeah.
There's
I would
sister
see Lucy
and then
being
there's
like
this and that.
single for 10 years, like living this crazy life. That's how I see it. Yeah.
I haven't actually been able to just like just concentrate on me and work for a while.
Right.
And when I do that, I don't know. It's
Get
good
further ahead in
my career.
Yeah.
Because I'm not giving. I give my time to my friends, my family.
Yeah.
But it also strengthens you for the next relationship or the next. Yeah.
But then you don't. I mean, I'm one of those people. I don't enter a relationship unless I think that's going to be it.
Okay.
So I'm always So it's taken me a while, but I'm happily single. But I do want a family, and I do want a family. I do.
Do you want to get married? Like, do you want to get married and have children?
What's that?
You want to get married and have children?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
How many children?
Well, originally, like a few years ago, I was like, let's go for 8. And then it went down to 6, then 4, now maybe 1. No, I'm joking. But I do want kids because I do, because I love my family and I want to, that's what is, it's important.
Isn't it weird how much more you get done when you're not with someone? Like, I don't want to, because I was with my girlfriend for a while and now I'm not. And I get so much more done, whether it's this or, mezcal or whatever it is. Do you want to try my mezcal, by the way?
I would love to try your mezcal.
So we're back. We just took a little break. We're going to do a little shot of James's mezcal.
Shout
These
out to
are
the
posh
bottle, though.
little
Look at that.
These are beautiful,
Look at that
right?
beautiful
Yeah.
bowl.
Cheers, everyone. To Lucy, to Moosey Lartin.
Would you
Lucy
down
Lartin.
it?
So Lucy.
You don't have to. No, sip it if you don't
All
want to
right.
down
Well
it.
done,
but I'm going
Luce.
to down it.
Cheers. Thanks so much
Cheers,
for having
doll.
me. I love you all.
Cheers.
Cheers.
It's really nice. It's really smooth.
Oh, you are downing it. Oh, it's lovely.
It's good, right?
It's got a great
38.5%.
aftertaste.
I
Yeah.
definitely didn't need a shot, but that was lovely.
Yeah. It's
Sorry,
nice.
Luce, you're amazing. You really are lovely. Thank you so much for doing this with us and chatting to us.
Thank you for having me.
Luce.
You guys are
Yeah, we
great.
love
We
you.
love you.
I've
Yeah.
loved it.
Do you want to say anything
Obviously.
about anyone or?
They're all fantastic, and I love being around them. No,
And there's
thank
your money.
Yeah. No, it was wicked. Thank you very much.
Oh.
Thanks, Harry.
All right.
Thanks, Luce.
Yes! Alright, that was good. See?